This is Bob Blackman, MP for Harrow East. On the 27th of November, the National Remembrance Day for Tamils is held to pay respects for those that lost their lives fighting for freedom and justice in Sri Lanka. This obviously falls in the month of November as a sad day in the history of Sri Lanka and indeed for the Tamil population there and spread across the world. The flower to symbolise the glorioso lily, a rare flower in the Tamil homeland, is used as a symbol of Tamil National Remembrance Day. Now we know that the civil war in Sri Lanka was a bloody experience for everyone, and people died on both sides of the divide. But the end of the civil war led to a position of 280,000 Tamils incarcerated in barbed wire camps under the guise of ensuring that they were forced to renounce the fight and be re-educated in the way that they should behave. Now we know that 146,000 people of Tamil origin are not accounted for anywhere, either in Sri Lanka or across the world. The United Nations has, in its investigations into the final stages of the war, has concluded that more than 70,000 Tamils died in the last 5 months of the conflict. And it is only by ensuring that the war crimes committed at the end of that war are properly investigated and those responsible are brought to account for what they did, the decisions they took, and indeed the actions taken by other soldiers on their behalf. The fact is that Tamils are not able in Sri Lanka to remember this day, so we are very privileged in the UK to be able to remember it for them. Tamils have to meet in private and they can't remember their loved ones, be it fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, uncles, aunts, or the rest of the extended family that very sadly perished during the conflict. Now, despite the harassment and intimidation and threat of arrest, many people will gather in the northeast of Sri Lanka and commemorate the dead. But they have to do so in private, and they are existing under threat of military action if they do. However, across the world, the Tamil diaspora come together and join in the commemoration in open and public events. This year is different because obviously we have COVID-19 and it's difficult under the circumstances. However, that event goes ahead, albeit on a virtual basis. And we must remember that whilst we remember the dead of the Civil War, in particular the people that died in the last few weeks or days of the war, or indeed surrendered to what they thought were going to be a security force that would actually look after them. We must remember them, and we must remember them in the suitable way. It doesn't change in any iota our responsibility to make sure that those responsible for the war crimes are brought to justice. But it's only by having the healing of the transparency of what happened will we actually get to that stage. So as we combat COVID-19, the greatest public health pandemic that we have faced, certainly in our lifetimes, we must remember those who died in service of what they believed in and what they sought to achieve. And so I wish you every success in remembering what happened, commemorating the dead, and continuing that process until we get justice for those that died.